And we're live. How we doing? How we doing? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Monday's here. Monday is here. What a fucking morning, eh? Jesus. Big morning. So we had a nice gap up overnight. Asia's run up all night basically. London started, shot up another 400 points. Crazy night. And yeah, I'm in a long currently. I've been sort of positioning myself for the day. I was hoping to be a bit further away from entry by now. I'm a bit uneasy about it. Got about 150 point stop. Yes, I was hoping to sort of be maybe more up here. New York Open, potentially a retrace into point of control, or then far away, but I don't love that we're opening by point of control really. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm up at the minute anyway, $200. I only got 3 micros on, obviously, because it's been very volatile. We're up what, bloody 800 points already on the day. Nearly 4%. So how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, it should be an interesting session, but yeah, I'm a bit apprehensive. Let's get a poll sorted out. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are for the day. I'm hoping you're going to say long. Bias for the session. Short. Let me know what your thoughts are. Obviously my bias is long. And the reason behind my long bias is because obviously Asia's opened, shot off up. London's opened, shot off up. And I think the reason that happens is because like the large institutions and stuff are basically buying market at open. So like say me over the weekend on Sunday night, I heard the good news about the trade deal. I got on my pension, putting an order for the Nasdaq, buy however many shares at open. So I think they'll have a load of people basically doing that, which is why you get the massive spikes of volatility and volume at the start of the session. And if Asia have bought it open, London have bought it open, I'm hoping New York will also buy it open. But we'll see. Ray, afternoon, mate. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you all had a good weekend anyway. Mine was pretty chill, just at work. Oh, how long we got? We got 8 minutes. 8 and a bit minutes. Yeah, I think my risk will be around 900 if I take a loss on this, if we hit full stop loss. Lewis, yo. How you doing, mate? You not at work? On a break for I'd say, oh nice man. What's your bias, Lewis, for the session? I'm frantically asking everyone to see if it aligns with mine. I love the stream. Nice one, man. Yeah, guys, hit the like button as you're coming in, mate. I really appreciate it. Really helps me out. No idea. That's not good enough, mate. I need an answer. Oh. When I was hearing about this China-US tariff deal, the first thing I heard about it was it wasn't actually a signed deal. And I don't know if it actually still is. It's like a pre-agreed kind of thing. So I was coming into the when I was at work this morning thinking to myself, there's a good chance, there's a possibility that for some reason it falls through or it's not as it seems and we get some bad news in it and we completely drop pretty much fill the gap sort of thing. But as the morning's gone on, things have been announced, like the details about it and stuff, and what it entails, and it seems to be nothing bad yet. Pullback will happen. I'm not sure if that's from open or not. That's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling like we're going to get a pullback at open, which is what makes me nervous, because obviously I can't say for sure how much of a pullback we're going to get. I was hoping to be a bit further away from entry, up here more, pull back into the into this little range we're in, point of control, and then zoom off from there. But I don't love opening at point of control. Easy see a 200, 300 point pullback here, which would stop me out. My stop loss is around 150 points. I am tempted to close it, but I'll be then really annoyed if it's a win. So I've got 3.5 minutes to make my mind up. Right, have you been? Yes, mate. I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Done my apprenticeship nearly. Oh, nice. What apprenticeship you doing, man? I think apprenticeships are the best kind of training you can get, really. On the job experience. Probably got far more hope of going into a job in that field when you finish. If you don't stay on where you are. Rather than going to like uni and just doing a degree in something, I think you're far better off doing an apprenticeship. Plus you get a feel for if you actually want to do it or not. Another thing that I don't love is my stop loss is now sitting around VWAP, which could be a definite place to retrace to. Decent amount of bile that's coming in. Come on, let's push away from the entry. Let's push away. Yeah, we're pushing away. We come down, sweep this low, and then shoot off farm. Right, 1 minute 50 seconds. But I'm just gonna stay with it. It's just my stop loss needs to be a little bit bigger, but I really can't be pushing the risk more than that. I was thinking about pushing it down just slightly below VWAP, but that then puts my risk at 1,000 and we can quite easily push through VWAP a little bit. I haven't planned it very well. I added one more here just because I couldn't resist. And I shouldn't have. If I hadn't have added one more there, I'd have had a bit more wiggle room with the stop loss. Can't remove some to reduce risk. Yes, I possibly could, really, couldn't I? Or we're open. We're open. We're not looking too aggressive so far. I'll leave it as it is for a minute. Just want to see if we might just sweep this level, then push up potentially. Come on, boss. Where you at? Where you at? I want to see a response here, really. If we keep pushing down, we'll have to take one off. It's a 200 EMA, I think. Yes, it sounds about right. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to move it down quite a bit if I'm going to move it down. Happy trading, mate. Good luck to you and everyone else. Level 6 software engineering. Oh, nice, man. That sounds complicated. Right for an internal role, so hopefully that goes well. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it, mate. We put a sell for 1 in there. Move this down slightly. If we do break this low, then I'll be out 1, reducing my risk a little bit. It's not the best closing candle, is it, really? Yeah, so I'm happy for us to sweep this level and tap VWAP, but if we're going any lower than that, I can't be in it. I've obviously got the wrong idea. Should have probably just closed it before open. Wanted more of a movement in the obviously in London and pre-market, and didn't get it. So maybe that should have been my my answer, is to close it out, because then I can weather a pullback more, can't I? Alright, 780, then nothing down to 550. Oh man. Alright, 780 now. Right, we swept that level. My targets for the day, by the way, are relatively large. I'm not going for a negative RR, don't worry. So yeah, my long target would be at 21,330. But another 400 point move up from where from open. Yeah. Sorry if I'm not my normal happy self. I don't feel great today, to be honest. I feel like shit. Got a pounding headache. I've taken some pills. Hopefully they kick in at some point, but... yeah, we need to be seeing a response from VWAP, otherwise it's got the wrong idea. We're obviously selling off. I did contemplate the idea of shorting. I should be close the poll. 60% reckon short, but I don't know how many of that was people voting after we sold off. Yeah, I did contemplate a short, but I just thought that's what just felt like that's what the majority of the market is going to want to be doing. We pushed up 800 points, and yeah, I could just see the everyone be like, oh yeah, we can't go up any higher. And yeah, I like the idea of a load of sellers being trapped, which I mean, this could be still happening. Could still be in play. Dramatic sell-off, and then a reversal to trap everyone. Quite possible. So I've taken a 114 point loss on one micro. Go away. So yeah, it's $228 loss on that one micro. Come on, this is it. VWAP's here. Save the day. Nice little wedge of orders sitting on a yes. Seem to be eating up the sell orders. So yeah, it should be, if I take full loss, it would be just over 1,000, I think. Maybe 1,050 loss. So yeah, I managed to reduce my risk slightly with that one taken off. Not ideal, but if it saves me, saves the trade overall, then it's obviously a good decision. Just means I can give it that little bit more that I needed. Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy with my stop loss at VWAP. Obviously, when I first entered this morning, bloody 35 minutes into the London session, VWAP was all the way down here still, so... Imagine we just gap fill. Yes, there's potentially potential And to be fair, if we break down past VWAP, I wouldn't mind flipping. Because it's a long way down. But I also like the idea of sellers being trapped. Yeah, definitely in hindsight, I should have closed out being so close to my entry at the start of New York Open. In my head, I was picturing it being a lot further away and then coming back and maybe retest an entry, which would have been fun. Yeah, being basically at entry at Open is not a good place to be. So yeah, that was an error on my part, and if I can go back in time, I would have closed it out, but I can't, so I'm dealing with the situation. But every mistake's a learning point in it, so. But I'd have also been annoyed if we'd shot up and then I'd just closed out my lovely little position that I've been working on all morning. Because I got a little bit scared, so I don't know. The market opens overextended, most often it will retrace and recover yet. Which is sort of why I had it in my head that I wouldn't mind a pullback. But in my head I was further away from my entry. I was expecting to be anyway, obviously I know I wasn't. My guy's most happy when we have just straight up movements or down movements, yeah, I bet. Bet you're having a good morning so far. Leo, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm just speaking with JR and mate. Oh, really? Why has he got to come in and ruin my fucking day? I mean, fingers crossed he says something bullish and he might save my day, but... Probably something about health. Why health? Have I missed something? Oh, health secretary. Oh yeah, okay, that'd be why. Excuse my little brain. I thought it was going to be on the China tariffs. Oh, we've got a little reaction from VWAP, but not as much as I would have liked.
And Pakistan ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. and they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. And I'm very proud to
The audio right,
know
guys?
that the leadership of India and Pakistan was unwavering, powerful, but unwavering in both cases, and having these, they really were, from the standpoint of having the strength and the wisdom and fortitude to fully know and to understand the gravity of the situation. And we helped a lot. And we helped also with trade. I said,
I
come
can
on,
hear audio. It's good.
we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it. That I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop. And they have. And they did it for a lot of reasons, but trade is a big one. We're going to do a lot of trade with Pakistan. We're going to do a lot of trade with India. We're negotiating with India right now. We're going to be soon negotiating with Pakistan. And we stopped the nuclear conflict. I think it could have been a bad nuclear war. Millions of people could have been killed, so I'm very proud of that. I also want to thank Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio for their work and efforts. They worked very hard on that. We also, as you know, created a situation where the Houthis, for the first time ever, have ceased firing, and they've let it be known that they're not going to be firing at American ships anymore, not going to be firing at Americans anymore. This was a heavy barrage that lasted for approximately 50 days. And as you know, they've been in war essentially.
Looks like my trade will still be around a 2-1 with the moved stop loss.
Very difficult for
Roughly.
other countries. Nobody was able to do what we did, but they stopped, and we take their word for it. Their surrogates and them directly said, we don't want to do this anymore.
Amazing how he takes credit for everything good and fails to be accountable for anything bad. Yeah, anything bad is Biden's fault.
Yesterday, we achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. Both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue in the larger structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs, and it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States.
Speeding this up.
To come back now based on
Get caught up.
because they don't want to pay 25, 50, or 100% tariffs, so they're moving them back to the United States. I spoke to Tim Cook this morning, and he's going to, I think, even up his numbers, $500 billion. He's going to be building a lot of plants in the United States for Apple, and we look forward to that. I really do look forward to that.
Fucking hell, I was far beyond.
But the talks in Geneva were very friendly. The relationship is very good. We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing. But one of the biggest things that we're doing, and I don't know if people realize this, but we made a great deal with China, a great trade deal. But
Cash market still have bought.
Originally, and then they canceled it right.
I was like 10 seconds ahead. You've obviously got better internet than I have, Leo.
Some of you faces I remember were there when that happened. I remember you. And we had a deal where they opened up their country to trade with the United States. And they took that away at the last moment, and then I canceled the whole thing. And then 6 months later, we ended up doing a smaller deal. But it was a big deal. It was $50 billion worth of product that they were going to purchase from our farmers, et cetera. And we agreed to that. People thought it was 15 because they were doing 15. We made it 50 because I misunderstood the 15. I said, you got to get 50. Because when I asked, if you remember the story, when I asked, what are we doing with them? My Secretary of Agriculture at the time, Sonny Perdue, said, sir, it's about 15 billion and we're asking for 15. And I thought he said 50. So I said, so they came back with the deal at 15. And I said, no way, I want 50. because you said 50. They said, sir, we didn't say that. Anyway, bottom line, I said, go back and ask for 50, and they gave us 50. And they were honoring the deal, and we would call them up a lot for the corn and for the wheat and for everything. They were honoring the deal.
Scrambling, yeah, I know.
When Biden got in, they no longer honored the deal. There was nobody to call. I would call on an average of once every 2 weeks to say, come on.
Oh, trade war because he misunderstood a number.
Farmers were doing great. I said to him, buy more land.
I feel like it's something that should be in writing, surely, before it's agreed upon.
The deal was a very good deal, but the best part of the deal was that we opened up China. China agreed to open itself up to American business to go in. Oh. And it would have been a great thing, I think, for China. They would be able to see things that they
basically going to miss here a number.
Buy products that they have never been able to buy. Would have been great for American business. I think it would have brought unity between China, better unity between China and the United States. And the bottom line is that they canceled it the last day. We were all set to sign it, and then I went a little bit angry. I got a little angry. I said they canceled the deal. The deal was done. It was all ready to be signed, and people went over. They came back to me, sir, they don't want to sign the opening up China. Well, the biggest thing that we're discussing is the opening up China, and they've agreed to do that, but it's going to take a while to paper it. You know, that's not the easiest thing to paper. But that's the single, I think, to me, some people would disagree. Some people would say we're getting a lot of money with tariffs or whatever. But, you know, especially when you add what we already have. Because remember, we're already getting the 50% on steel and different things. That's not included in these numbers. So you can add that. But the biggest thing to me is the opening up. I think it would be fantastic for our businesses if we could go in and compete with China. It would be a lot of jobs for China. It would be, I think, at a time when they can frankly use the jobs. And that's what we're talking about. So that's a very, very important element to add. So when Scott, I watched him speak the other day, and I think he didn't want to say it, but I said, it's okay to say it. Look, if we don't get it, we don't get it. But if we don't get it, it won't be a positive thing. But if we do get it, I think it's maybe the most important thing to happen. Because if you think about it, we opened up our country to China. They have very few restrictions. And they didn't open their country to us. Never made sense to me. It's not fair. And they've agreed to open China, fully open China. And I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us. And I think it's going to be great for unification and peace.
I want to try and get on with it.
China will also suspend and remove all of its non-monetary barriers. They've agreed to do that. Well, they're very numerous. But again, to me, the biggest thing that came out of that meeting is they've agreed. Now we have to get it papered, but they've agreed to open up China. It's going to be great for everybody. And third, I'm very happy to announce that Idan Alexander, an American citizen who until recently most thought was no longer living, thought was dead, is going to be released in about 2 hours, actually. And he's going to be released before the eyes of Steve Witkoff, who has done a fantastic job. I know a lot of people, they have a lot of talent. I know Steve, he had a lot of talent. But I know a lot of people with a lot of talent, but there's one that I thought had a special way about him, special personality, aside from being a good deal maker, had a special way about him, and it was Steve. Knew very little about the subject matter, who does, but he learned it in about 2 hours, and he's been fantastic. So I want to just thank Steve, but they're going to be...
You can see us chopping around feedback for a little bit, at least until Trump's spoken.
About 2 hours from now, or sometime today, let's say. And again, they thought he was dead just a short while ago. His parents are so happy. They're so happy. So it's, as you know, Idan's the only American citizen who's captured and held hostage by Hamas since October 7th, 2023. And he's coming home to his parents, which is really great news. I mean, to me, it's big news. They thought he was dead. So that's that. So we'll be heading there and we'll be seeing 3 primary countries. You know all about that: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. On Thursday's meeting with Russia and Ukraine is very important. I was very insistent that that meeting take place. I think good things can come out of that meeting. Stop the bloodshed of the horrible. It's a bloodbath.
See, I think the trade to take would have been to long from here.
It's really much more trying to be
Closed it out at
more
just
than
before
5,000
open.
soldiers. Russian. They're not American soldiers. They're from Russia.
And
They're
if we did get that
people.
retracement,
They're human
long off
souls,
VWAP.
and they're being killed at levels that we haven't seen since the Second
Much better
World
risk to
War.
reward to it.
And it's every week. A lot of drone fighting. It's a whole new form of warfare, and it's violent and vicious. And so that's it. I'd like to go back to China just for a second. They're very heavy on the fentanyl. We're charging them, as you know, 20% for the fact that they send fentanyl into our country. And they've agreed that they're going to stop that. And, you know, they'll be rewarded by not having to pay, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. So the fentanyl should stop. It comes from China. It's amazing. And comes through our southern border, comes through our northern border too, comes through Canada, and comes through our southern border, much more through the southern border. But so that's a very important subject to me, because everybody in this room has lost friends or people that have family members that have died of fentanyl. So there's a big incentive for China to stop, and I take them at their word. They're going to work on that, I think, very hard. And one thing, when they work on something, they get it done. So now I'm about to depart on a historic visit. Some of you are going with us to, as I said, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. Before I do, I'll sign one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything signed like this, certainly not with respect to health care, nothing even close. I'm delighted to be joined on this occasion by Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who is doing a really good job, I have to tell you that. CMS Administrator, a friend of mine, Dr. Mehmet Oz, who is an amazing guy. You know, I was telling Bobby before, Oz had a very successful show, but it hurt his
The
reputation.
crowds in the US, whenever they have like a press conference or a speech or something, they always have to stand there like a united front. There's always got to be a couple of them,
Professionalism and being a doctor, it sort of hurts
like
your
a wall of
reputation.
people.
This guy went to the best schools, was the best, I mean...
Quite often a load of people stood behind as well, weren't there?
Then he did a television show, became a success, made a lot of money, all that stuff, but it sort of...
In the UK, we just get lonesome Starmer by himself normally.
A special woman, Janine Pirro. She was the toughest, smartest DA, maybe in our countries, in our cities and states, history, New York. She was really tough, really sharp. Then she did a show, and people didn't think of her quite the same way. She became more of an entertainment person, like Oz. Oz is not an entertainer. He's not really an entertainer, if you know the real story. And she isn't either. She is unbelievable. She was...
Now he's
one
rambling,
of the
yeah.
strongest district attorneys in the history of New York. Highly respected, very tough.
Feels like Mark's going to push down further. Yeah, I mean, potentially.
At a level
I'm still holding out hope.
anymore. And hopefully
If we break VWAP, then yeah, I think we're
she's leaving the #1 show
we'll be
on
setting off.
cable television, one of the #1 shows on television, period.
This is the
But they've got great people left behind, but she was a big part of it.
point
And,
of
so I
do or
equate
die.
that. Janine Pirro is unbelievable. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary with a
It'd
reputation.
be a very nice sweep if we are going long.
The job he's doing already has been fantastic. Thank you, Marty. And Director of National Institute of Health, Jay Bhattacharya, who has been, as you know, from Stanford, so highly regarded, and have all been working with us.
If I haven't looked at that. I looked at it earlier.
Ask, being a little bit new to the government aspect of it, is why doesn't somebody fight the drug price situation, meaning
The Dow's held up a lot better, isn't it?
It's called equalization. Nobody wants to mention that term. And I'm not knocking the drug companies. I'm really more knocking the countries than the drug companies, because they're forced to do things. But the drug lobby is the strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers. And they have a lot of power.
It's only NQ that's actually swept.
No longer subsidize the health care
Swept
of
this
foreign
low.
countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what, for the same drug, that what we pay many, many times more for. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But again, it was really the countries that forced...
Range until he's finished talking, then we'll see, I guess. Yes, I think that's probably what's happening. It's waiting for him to
They really felt
shut
comfortable
up.
doing. But they've gotten away with it, these countries. European Union has
The
been...
bottom and NQ, let's go, let's go.
And the drug companies actually told me stories. It was just brutal how they forced them. And European Union suing all our companies, Apple,
It's only a matter of faith right now, boys, yeah.
Meta. They're suing all of our companies. They end up, they have judges that are European Union-centric.
Could be a big session as well, I reckon, if we break the highs.
20 billion, and they use that to run their operation. Not going to happen any longer, that I can tell you. So what's been happening is we've been subsidizing other countries throughout the world, not just in Europe, throughout the world. European Union was the most difficult from what I understand. I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on? He said, so I checked. And it's the same box, made in the same plant.
Savvy Taco, good morning. How you doing?
Company. It's the identical pill.
What's the point of this talk? Oh, no, I do, mate.
And here I'm paying $88 in London. In New York, I'm paying $1,300. Now, this is a great businessman, so...
We assumed it was to do with health, and he's briefly stopped on health, but he's been mainly talking about the China tariffs.
Stunned.
He's talking about other tariffs. And now he's talking about his fat, rich friend who was buying the fat drug.
Represented by somebody who's very
Cheap in London.
Good person, too. And we argued about it for about half hour, and then finally he just said, because they can't justify it, he just said,
Listen to Trump tell me his life story. I wonder when he's going to stop for
no longer just. They've been justifying this crap for years. They said, oh, it's research and development. Well, I said, well, research and development, other countries should pay research and development too. It's for their benefit. It was just one of those things. And the other countries would set a price, and they'd meet the price, and they'd say, if you don't meet the price, you can't sell it in our country. I said, well, then you walk away, and, you know, they'll call you back, and they'll sell it in the country. But now they'll have to do that. So for the first time in many years, we'll slash... This is a
stream account. Yeah, it's a challenge account that I've been doing.
Bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down.
Not being not the most, my best trade. Not the best trade I've taken.
Think of a drug that is sometimes 10 times more expensive. It's much more than...
The account is that way you take random subscriber on streams.
But in one way you could analyze it that way.
Trade only or the paper champ trades. What you mean, have them on stream with us, or just trade their strategy?
So hard in the first term, and if I got prices down, remember I was the only one to ever get prices down for a full year, but I'd get them down like 2%, and I thought it was like a big deal. Well, we're getting them down 60, 70, 80, 90%. But actually more than that, if you think about it, in the way mathematics...
I can just say when to enter in the chat. Oh, okay.
Farmer has to say,
yeah, I'll get you.
We're sorry, but we'll not be able to do this any longer.
All the paper champions, yeah, but he took fucking...
So tough. They've been very tough.
200 plus trades, I think. By the time he's typed, I'm buying, he would be selling.
Very powerful.
I'm sure he was literally buying, selling, sort of,
this is the Democrats have protected farmer. These are the Democrats.
Within the same couple of seconds, I think.
I just called the Speaker of the House, and I just scrolled.
It was something like that. I'm sure it was something along the lines of like every time a new 5-minute candle opens,
Mike
you
Johnson.
get like a quick pullback or something like that. So he then buys and then was selling literally straight after, and
Score that
yeah, wild, whatever he was doing.
billions of dollars of tariff money is coming in. But even bigger than that, you're going to have to score that your costs for Medicaid and Medicare and just basically
That's
pharmaceuticals
like 10, 13k in free trades.
at a level that
Yeah, I think that's
ever
the calmer way to do it.
seen before.
He must have just been sat there for 8 hours,
I see the Golden Dome is there, see?
eyes burning,
Easily pay for the Golden Dome.
in and out, in and out, in and
A
out.
lot of money left over. We need the Golden Dome, by the way, in this world. Although this world's a lot safer today than it was a week ago.
Yeah, I think if someone's got like a relatively chill strategy,
We had people that had no
it would be
clue what they
doable.
were doing.
But a lot of people, like by the time they've said buy,
Americans spend
by the time I've
70%
bought, they'll be
more
getting out.
prescription drugs than we spent in the year 2000. Think of that. Our country has the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by sometimes a factor of 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It's not like they're slightly higher. They're 6, 7, 8 times. There are even cases of 10 times higher.
Maybe trade day, maybe stop trading 1 to 2 minute charts
You go
and
10 times more
make it 50 trades a day. Had a cleansing that day, only 5 minutes up from now. Oh, it's good, man. I hope it's
It's home to only 4% of the world's
obviously I hope it's improved it for you, improved your trading.
pharmaceutical companies make more than 2/3 of their
That's ideal,
profits
isn't it?
in America. So think of that. With 4% of the population, the
I
pharmaceutical
mean, it changed things up for me a little bit, I think, as well. It made me
profits from America. That's not a
sort
good
of try to made me relax a little bit more, because I'm sort of very uptight with how I trade
great
and
respect for these companies and for the people that run them. I really do.
trying to
And I think they did one of
yeah,
the
just go with what I'm thinking rather than overthinking it. And
people for many years that this was a fair system.
yeah, it's definitely changed how I've traded.
Really understood why, but I figured it out. For years, pharmaceutical and drug companies have said that research and development costs were
How do you mean friends of Trump and
what they are.
have to listen to this every time we meet? No wonder why Musk is on get, man.
Be borne by
Is he? I didn't know that.
alone. Not anymore. They don't.
To be fair, he probably has to be just to stay awake.
Patients were effective.
If he
Look at
works as much as he says he
subsidized
works.
Healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union, they were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is, in many ways, nastier than China. Okay? And,
It cracks me up how he says China.
oh, they'll come
China.
back a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. They sell us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none.
Ray's on, yes, let's see how this goes. Good luck, mate.
That gives
I'd like to say that you're on the right side, but
and very unfair.
I'm also down
Have to pay more for
$400,
healthcare.
so
You have to pay less. That's all it is.
don't take my advice.
Believe it or not, because it's really the world we're talking about, not just the European Union, but because it's the world, the numbers are.
We're looking for another one of those days of paper trading cup ones. Yeah, we'll have to do it again at some point.
They'll make the same. I think
It was a good laugh.
companies should make pretty much the same money. I really don't believe
Front runs on ego, natural high, yeah.
much because
I can't believe he's still
it's just a
talking. I haven't been listening to him
It's a
for 10 minutes.
redistribution where it could be the same top line, but it's going to be distributed differently. Europe's going to have to pay a little bit more. The rest of the world's going to have to pay a little bit more, and America's going to pay a lot less. Again, because it's a much smaller population than when you think of the whole world. So basically, what we're doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize. Where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that.
Maybe everyone sends you over account details first, and no blown accounts, and no gambling. Yeah, but you say that, but I only had 2 people send over their information afterwards anyway, and that was if they could blow accounts and start again. How many do you think I'd get if I said no blown accounts?
10 times more than
It'd just be me.
whoever is paying the lowest price. We will look at that price.
There you go, Taka, no blown accounts is fine. Maybe free blown limit.
Most favored nations. That's what it is. One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product. A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40 in the United Kingdom, which is where this gentleman told me he paid a small amount for his shot. But think of that. So $40 versus $500 here. That's not even bad. There are much worse examples. And the weight loss drug,
Google Doc, everyone enters their name and account numbers, so all updates for you. Yeah, plenty of way to do it.
than in the rest of the developed world. 10 times more. Why? Why? What did we do? Suckers. But we never had a president that had the courage to do this. And nobody knew the system like I do. I mean, I've gotten to know this system so well. And I don't
What I'd like to see if we do get back around my break-even area,
it's not a good health care.
I would like to see it plow straight through this range quite aggressively, really.
Or an obligation to let it die. I chose that.
Break through, possibly come back for a retest and then head off.
And I had a choice. I could have let it fail or make it as good as possible.
The more we chop around in this range, I think we could just break back down again.
And we did the right thing. But this makes everything work. And I don't want to have a bad form of healthcare work because of the fact I was able to cut drug prices by 80 or 90%. So we're going to maybe come up with something. I think this gives the Republicans a chance to actually do a healthcare that's much better than Obamacare. And for
Well, speaking, there's always a chance for him to say something wrong to the market, yeah. I think that's why it stalls a little bit when he's talking.
Have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies, and they knew they were doing the wrong thing. And it's going to be very hard. I was just telling the leader and the speaker that it's going to be very hard for the Democrats to vote against the one big, beautiful deal. The greatest tax cuts in history, greatest everything, but now you have the big drug prices because that's going to be included. It makes that whole situation different from a scoring standpoint. I just told them, I called them up about this. I said, I'm going to do something that's going to be very monumental, and you're going to be scoring. You better tell your people that this is going to score really well, and then add hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs.
Come on, man.
Also. But as big as the tariffs are, this is something that really hits quickly. 5 years ago, I signed an executive order to confront this disaster, but only confront it in a minor way. It was a good confrontation, but never to this extent. And it took people a little while to understand a very complicated system. But Joe Biden, without any knowledge of what he was doing, terminated the policy and then pretended to negotiate under a new system.
How long has it been going for? 45 minutes?
Take a look. 5 out of the 10 drugs that he negotiated are now over 200% more expensive in America than the rest of the world, and far more expensive than when he even got involved. Much more expensive than when he got involved. Joe Biden's plan was as you know, because you wrote about it, you don't say it very loudly, but it was a very big failure, was his whole presidency. First, I'm directing the U.S. trade representatives and Department of Commerce to begin investigations into foreign nations that extort drug companies by blocking their products unless they accept bottom line and very low dollar amounts for their product, unfairly shifting the cost burden onto American patients. And we'll be taking a look at that very strongly. The biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to tell those countries, like those represented by the European Union, that, that game is up, sorry. And if they want to get cute, then they don't have to sell cars into the United States anymore. It's a very big subject. And they won't get cute, because I'll defend the drug companies from that standpoint. They were given a price by the European unions and other countries. This is what you do. This is what we're going to pay. We're not going to pay any more. Let America pay the difference, because there was a big shortfall. Let America pay it. And that's what we did, but we're not doing it anymore. Next, my administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. And we're using the term other developed countries because there are some countries that need some additional help, and that's fine. I think that's very good. Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the...
I might like listen to someone on the site. Well, good luck, everyone. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. Sorry I've got it on, but like Leo said, he could say anything, couldn't he?
Reductions.
And do I need to hear it to make a decision if I want to get out or not?
We're going to totally cut out the famous middlemen. Nobody knows who they are. Middlemen. I've been hearing the term for 25 years. Middlemen. I don't know who they are, but they're rich. That I can tell you. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen. So we're cutting out, Bobby, the middlemen. It's so important, right? You got to do that. They're worse than the drug companies. They don't even make a product, and they make a fortune. It's very smart business people, that I can tell you. If companies make no significant progress toward most favored nation pricing, which we will insist that they do, so I think I'm wasting time talking about it. We're going to insist upon it. And we'll insist, and we're going to help the drug companies with the other nations, because those other nations do a lot of trading with us. They need our trade, just like China needed us very badly. They need us just as badly. We will do whatever we have to with trade, just like we did some great things with trade with India and Pakistan. It really helped the situation, very heated situation. Could have lost millions of people, more than millions. I mean, many millions of people. And they want to do business with America, but we never used our powers that way. We never knew how. We never had people that knew.
He's making my headache come back.
We'll also open up America's market to safe and legal imports of affordable drugs from other countries, putting dramatic downward pressure on prices. And if necessary, we'll investigate the drug companies, and we'll, in particular, investigate the countries that are doing this, and we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it on to tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize. Everybody should pay the same price. And special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people. I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably, the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders, I think, that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And I'd like to ask Robert F. Kennedy to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Oh, the other one's speaking now.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator on Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself, spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry too. I think they gave you $100 million. Yeah. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude,
Awful in Belgium, yeah, man.
your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand
Who's
up.
speaking right now? RFK Jr.
We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies. We spend in our country $1,126 per capita on drugs. In Britain, they spend about $240. They spend 1/5 of what we do. And this is true across Europe. And the drug companies, Europeans, if you ask them, it made no sense what they were saying. America has to pay for this innovation or it's not going to happen. What President Trump is saying to our European partners is you've got to raise the amount that you're paying for those drugs and pay for your share of the innovation. That the United States is no longer subsidizing that. If the Europeans raise the price of their drugs by just 20%, that is $10 trillion that can be spent on innovation, and the health of all people all across the globe is going to increase because we're going to have better products. So I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime. I have a couple of kids who are Democrats, are big Bernie Sanders fans, and when I told them that this was going to happen, they had tears in their eyes because they thought this is never going to happen in our lifetime, and we finally have a president who's willing to stand up for the American people. Thank you, and Dr. Oz.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation. And it's only happening because we have a president with the fortitude, the guts to stand up to the withering criticism and lobbying that's going to occur as soon as folks...
Feel like we're looking a bit bare flaggy on NQ.
So, on behalf of the
See if
child
it's a little
control
trap or
company
not.
who's got an autoimmune disease with a $1,000 a month drug, or the older woman in Los Angeles who's on a blood thinner who can't afford her copay, I want to thank President Trump. God bless you for having the guts to take on this industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about the details a little bit. And this is primarily
details.
about equalization, as President Trump said. It's about fairness. Think of NATO as a metaphor. When President Trump said, you've got to pay a little more, so it makes sense for all of us, they came up. And the European countries contributed. The same thing we believe will happen in this situation. Most people who have thought about this process agree that it is...
Break 745.8, like, yeah, potentially
Secretary Kennedy...
I'm holding out just for a minute just to see if this is like a little fake bear flag.
My left is a list of the...
We'll need to have a response soon.
In the IRA.
If we don't, I'll probably close this trade out.
The bill, the law that regulates a negotiation process. This is the best price.
I think it's now irrelevant. Do you think?
Obtained by the Biden administration. And if you look at these numbers, they actually reflect how much on top of...
Yeah, I want to turn it off because it's fucking boring the shit out of me. Right, let's get the tunes back on. Right, we're back. Watch for all traders, yes. That'd be the 15-minute one, wouldn't it? Even the 30-minute as well, probably. Ba, ba, da, ba. It's not looking great. VWAP's broke. 15 minutes broken VWAP. I'm gonna give it another minute or two. Just because I do like the idea of this being like a little trap, but it looks like I want to be stopped out anyway, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. 966 down. You watch, we'll reverse now. I've cancelled. Don't worry. Yeah, not a very well handled trade at all. I was on about last week trying to make sure I'm executing better, and yeah, prime example of how not to execute. Everyone bye boys, Sam's out yet. I generally wouldn't be surprised, maybe. We could quite easily have a bounce this 200 EMA here on the 5 minute. And yeah, it's normally what happens. Yeah, we broke VWAP. I like the idea of this bear flag being like a little trap, but we're still selling off, so maybe hold 200 EMA. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I can't be moving my stop down any further. Yeah, poor trade. If I mean, I said it already, but if I could do it again, I should have been cancelling out before New York Open. Knowing it can go either way, can't it? It's probably a bit of it was a bit of a gamble probably on my part. And yeah, I was open to it pulling back, but I was open to it pulling back if I was more in profit. And then I'd have had a bit more wiggle room. The fact that we were basically at my entry at open means gave me 0 wiggle room, which meant I had to reduce risk. And yeah, not ideal. Yeah, I should have closed out. I could have closed out for maybe 200 in profit as well, just before New York Open. And then, I mean, even down here, it could still be valid for longs, but I need to see more confirmation, to be honest. I was short on 820 and got scared out of it. Oh man. Let's have a look at what the funded account is doing. Sloth, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Let's see, pull back and reject a short. Around 60s, yeah. Yeah, I think if we get a pullback to EMA, I'll look to go short on the funders potentially. I think my time I'm not taking any trades still 430. I don't blame me, mate. Bum, bum, bum. Market seems smoother after 4:15, 4:30. Yeah. I've noticed you get some of the better trending moves after the sort of first hour and a half. Oh, we have just tapped a pivot point. But to be honest, I still prefer the idea of a short if we're holding this level. I think a pivot point at this level is irrelevant. Sorry, I'll stop singing. Put in order for one micro sell. Just at the this 15-minute zone. We're risking about $180 in total. Might be taking a similar trade on the funded as well. European markets close at 435, often makes for smoother trend in price action in US markets. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose, doesn't it? Alright, so we filled on that. Put a stop at the high. Yeah, no, not valid on the fundeds. Bum, 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 bum. Well, spitting, this is a trap that I was talking about. We just fucking smashed straight through. CPI tomorrow? No, I didn't realise. Threw me off. CPI is normally a Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, not seeing much rejection at the minute, are we? I've got to stop drinking so much when I'm streaming. I can't fucking bursting for a piss. For tomorrow, good luck all. Good luck, Buckle Will, mate. See you tomorrow if you're around. Enjoy your cup of tea. I need to get bracket orders set up on here. The only thing with bracket orders, if you're I don't know if anyone knows on Tradeify, you have bracket orders set up, but you're let's say add into your position. Does that then just like add multiple stop losses and stuff? So say if I like add to my position twice during a trade, so I've got three say market orders in a trade, would I then have 3 separate stop losses and 3 separate take profits? I probably would, wouldn't I? That would just get on my nerves, I think. So I say if you add 3 contracts on an ongoing trade, you're making still only 1 trade. You're not making 4 separate trades, yeah. And Topstep does it like that, doesn't it? But I just wanted to know, obviously, with bracket orders, if it's creates 3 separate stop losses. Topstep counts trades as an individual execution, yeah. Irritating, isn't it? Yeah, if I'm adding to a position, I like you said, I count it as one one trade I'm just adding to. Not separate trades. Obviously, I suppose, from like a system point of view, they have to do it like that. That's how it is entered in the system, but it's annoying when you're looking at your stats and it's saying that you're taking 3 or 4 trades, but even it's only one trade. If we're going to get a rejection, it's going to be from here. Just the stats are not useful yet. Fighting counter trends. Yeah, it's been not the best of days, is it? For me personally, anyway. This what happened in the competition we did. It said 300, but usually I have 10 contracts and pump it 15 times for 150 or the max to get max amount, or let's pull back. I'll just move the take profit line to get less profit. Oh, okay. Yeah, you had an insane amount of trades. He can follow stuff, seems as he only does a few trades a day. Yeah. Yeah, potentially. Would be interesting. I don't know if he'd handle the pressure though. There's stuff we were talking earlier about, obviously as you were the paper trade cup winner, you basically giving me signals on street when I trade on a practice account. No trades on Topstep account today? No, mate, no. Probably for the best, to be honest, looking at my P&L on the challenge account. There's not been any setups for me, really, to be honest. Wouldn't have taken anything in here as a range bound. It's considering shorting from here, but we just sort of jumped straight through the EMA, so yeah, nothing that I've liked today. I'll die. Pretty much I do 8 to 10 win, 2 out of 10 kill you if you're wrong. I found it a difficult day to read today. I think when you have sort of moves like this, It's almost like having a massive large news candle when it is makes, I think, the following it hard. I think sort of while I was leaning just to sort of towards one of those days where we just go up only. Sort of the only idea I really had. Sort of moves like Jagger. See 8 in a row, 5 to pass, and 3 more to the buffer to withdraw. Yeah, the trouble is, if I have stats of that, I would get the 2 first and blow the account. Then I'll try again and get the other 2 first again, blow the account. The session, sellers are in control for sure, but to time it was hard, yeah. Big open red candles, set the mood, yeah. Yeah, I was hoping it was a sweep, but definitely wasn't. Yeah, the only sort of thing I've got in my head now is push down into this 5-minute zone maybe. Get a reaction from there, maybe come back up into the range. Potentially chop in the PM session or potentially take highs, I don't know. Have a great day, Bob. Appreciate you being here, mate. Hope your day's greener than mine is. Look at the deal, you see that there was only real aggression by the sellers, yeah. Yes, it's definitely one to reflect on. And yeah, situations like that, when I'm near my entry, I need to just be closing out of the trade. I mean, if thinking about it, I wouldn't at 9:30 bang on or 9:29 open a long or short position ever. That's not saying I'd ever do. Like, it's essentially 50-50 at that point. I feel like even if it's a long day, you can still get stopped out with a short sweep. And I was, to be fair, I was probably 100 points in profit the day we've been having. I was up here when I 133. But yeah, more like sort of 20 points. But yeah, I should have been closing out before the start of the session, being that close to opening price at the open. Something I should have known to do and I didn't, so it's my own fault. I'm not that annoyed by it, it's just one of them things. I've just made a silly fucking mistake. There's no point in being annoyed by the situation, just get on with it and move on in it. That's what I'm trying to do. $707 level I called earlier looks great for a long. 707, yes, potentially, mate. Yeah. basically where I cancel my trade. Trade that you're doing was good, but when you're adding like that, you can't make make lower lows against you. I think, yeah. I mean, normally when I'm adding when I'm in profit. And I mean, I was in profit. First entry down here, second entry up here. And yeah, this one, I was only going to do 2, but this one I just felt like it was too good of a retracement to miss up on. And obviously I was married to the long bias, do you know what I mean? I was expecting to be way above up here before New York Open. And if it was, it wouldn't have been so bad holding for a retest, but obviously being basically at my entry level at the Open, it's just, like I said, I wouldn't ever sit there and market buy at 9.29. So why would I then hold a position if I might break even? What happened to your Topstep fund? Did you blow it? No, I've still got it, mate. I'm just it's taking a back burner. I've had, I think, 3 wins, I think. I'm on a little 3 win streak at the minute. Yes, 3 win streak. Probably can't see it, hang on. For some reason, like Thursdays at the minute. Last 5 trades have been Thursdays. And yeah, obviously I've scaled right down. And yeah, taking it a lot easier. Because I don't want to blow them. Been focusing on challenge accounts more. You get right if it's going your way, but good rule is to not let it make low lows yet. Just took a sell, but on demo. Now 720. And you're red with more contracts, yeah. Yeah, I was willing to hold the VWAP, and then we had a little bounce off VWAP. And then I was willing to hold it here just in case we were just one more sweep before rejection. But yeah, by the time we got down here, I had to be out. Had to be out. Original stop losses around here. Obviously took one off to be able to move my stop loss down a little bit just in case it was a VWAP retest. Take half off at 740. Yeah, nice, man. Fingers crossed we get there. Just take a payout yet on this funding from Topstep. Yeah, I've taken 3k in payouts overall. Took a small one last year. Then yeah, I took 2.7k out February? End of February, maybe March? I can't remember now. At $44 on my combine, hit my daily goal. Nice one, man. Nice. Wave hour renews on the 14th. Got to pass it today or tomorrow. Yeah, it's weird how you're going with those mindsets, isn't it? It's either pass or fade it. This choppiness is annoying me because I need a wee. I'm gonna have to get like a sign or something. BRB pissing that I can put up on the camera. Just a sort of kappa. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe I should just get like a little bucket underneath my desk. If you hear a running water noise, you know what it is. The trouble is, I've got like my drink is like I think 1.1 liters, and I pretty much smashed through a whole one during a stream. That's what's up trading with my funders. I was 300 away. I walked from past him. And I was 700 and was 1k away now. 350 away. I've just been patient and been past. Yeah, it's like I said, it's an emotional thing when you get that close. My worst nightmare when I was on my combines was closing out a trade and being like a couple of dollars away, because I feel like I would completely cock it up trying to get that extra couple of dollars. And go to this practice account with YOLO. That's what practice accounts are for, mate. That's what practice accounts are for. Try new stuff. Get your impulses out on the practice account rather than your challenge account. Trouble is, when you're getting your impulses out in the practice account and it's working, and then you take it over to your challenge account and it doesn't work. That's not what happens to me. The lack of price action is annoying me. I think I just come into it thinking it was going to be really decent session. I suppose it's CPI tomorrow. Could mean not a lot of action, but I think I'm gonna have to call it. I know I'm still in trade, but I'm gonna have to call it and update you on Discord later how it goes. You can see where my stop loss and take profit is. Yeah, I'll post it in Discord once it's once one is hit. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go because I fucking need a piss. The other day I finished a stream and I had to fucking walk like a hunchback because I literally couldn't stand up straight. Thought my bladder was gonna explode. Cheers, stopping by though. Cheers. Sorry, it's been an awful trading day. I mean, obviously it doesn't affect you guys, but yes, had the wrong idea. Didn't play it right. Again, poor execution. Execution is something I'm desperately trying to work on. But yes, take it easy if you're still trading. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. This week, by the way, I forgot to say earlier, it's going to be a bit of a shorter week for the streams. There'll be no stream Wednesday, no stream Thursday, and I think I'll be back on Friday. But I've got family over from Canada, so I'll be seeing them Wednesday, and then on Thursday we've got the the 20-week scan. So I'll be finding out the gender on Thursday. So I won't be here for that either. Yeah, but I should be back on Friday. But yes, take it easy anyway for the rest of your day. And yes, I'll be back tomorrow, normal time. I shall see you then. Cheers, stop by, guys. Have a good one.